Homorazzi Hawt Topics. Jonny Staub is out of town right now, so we are filling in for him. I'm Kevin Wolfley.
Patrick.
I'm Brian.
Topher.
Awesome. So to kind of hit things off today, we're going to talk about Pinup Saints. For our viewers in the States, you probably don't know who Pinup Saints are yet, but you should. Pinup Saints also include somebody else that's important to us up here in Vancouver, which is Nico Archambault, who is the winner of So You Think You Can Dance Canada. Pinup Saints, we went and saw their show Saturday night?
Friday night.
Friday night, that's right.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Really excellent, kind of a little bit burlesque, a little bit, a lot of music, a lot of great dancing. It was really fun.
Yeah, so the music that they actually created, you can get their iTunes or their album on iTunes. It's called Golden, and it's a really interesting concept, right? Because it's Nico, who's this amazing dancer, and then Raul, who's one of the other founding members, does all of the music, and they've actually created the music and the dancing in conjunction with each other. So the music influences the dancing just as much as their dancing influences the way that the music turned out. So it's a true marriage between the two art
So
forms.
like Pussycat Dolls.
So does the CD come with like? Does
A
the
true
CD,
marriage.
Yeah.
Does the CD come with videos of the dancing and stuff? How do you?
No, it doesn't, but we have some exclusive footage from their show here on Friday night. We've got some interviews that are going to be up on the site later this week, and you'll be able to check out a lot of the dancing stuff.
But I can understand where Topher's coming from. He's saying, like, if the two are very married together, why does the CD not include it? But I think that they explained that in that the demand, the music was really created for the dance, but then people came to watch their performance. They wanted the music to take home with them afterward, and that's where the CD came out of it.
Yeah.
It was because the music was so good that it lived beyond the dance and the performance that was happening on the night.
The performance was very sexual in its
Yeah.
content. And actually, I was reading their press release or the website, and they said that warning, viewing the show may, lead to copulation or whatever. I'm like, and it kind of does. I think, like you were feeling a little randy. I think after
You
this.
texted me a dirty.
Yeah. So don't tell people about my text.
Oh, I forgot to tell everybody Donovan's behind the camera.
Yes.
Hi, Donovan. Where's your whisper?
I can show
No,
you.
do not show the text.
There's one point in the performance where they take this girl and they completely douse her in what I assume is honey.
Yeah.
It's very, very sexual.
Yeah.
Very, very. Looks
Like flash dance, like.
Actually, exactly like that.
Really?
No, she's like, oh, I guess you guys can't see me on the other side of the camera, but she's all like, this. Yeah.
She's like standing in a bucket doing like this sort of like sexy I'm in a shower pose sort of thing, and then like Raul like dumps a bucket of honey on her.
Yeah.
And it like and people are like licking it off of her, and even the audience, they were like
Yeah.
sticking their hands out into the honey and like licking their fingers, and I
That
was
must have
like,
been expensive. That was gallons of honey.
It almost seemed like sacrificing the virgin kind of sort of like
I
thing,
couldn't
yeah.
help but
yeah,
flashback to You Can't Do That on Television, that show that used to air on YTV.
Oh yeah, when you say like, when you say thing or something.
It was
like that.
nose. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Alanis Morissette was on that.
yeah.
We should do that.
Oh,
Then you would be get doused a lot, Patrick.
Yeah.
it's funny how everybody knows that show, even as obscure as it should be.
Yeah. So Pinup Saints and Nico, check them out. You can get a bunch of the stuff just directly off of YouTube if you want to see some of the clips from both the Pinup Saints show as well as some of the So You Think You Can Dance Canada stuff. Nico is amazing. Check it out. You won't regret it. In fact, check out the solo that he does to Halo by Pinup Saints. You'll know it because he's wearing a black mask. It's really, really good. In other news, sorry. This is why Jonny does the cover, does the hosting.
Back to you,
not Kevin. Yeah. So in Maine, John Balducci, the governor, signed into law the legislation that was put forth to make it the 5th state in the United States to legalize gay marriage. It's only the 2nd state. Yes.
What, Maine?
It's only the 2nd state to have done it through legislation, the first of which was Iowa, of course, which actually came as kind of a shock to most of the nation, because I don't know, I mean, personally, when I hear Iowa, I wouldn't
It would be
really
the first
think
one that comes to
progressive,
mind, yeah.
right?
I think of corn-fed farm boys. But, oh, sorry.
Waking Donovan up out of his porn.
Maybe I should text Patrick again. Sorry.
Yeah.
be Sean Cody or someone else who should be texting. Corbin Fisher.
Yeah. So anyway, Governor Balducci, he had a few days, or he actually had a number of days that he was able to, or would have been able to review the bill, but he actually signed it like the day after the legislature passed it through. So kudos to him. There is a lot to be said about what's going on in the States in terms of gay marriage. Obviously, everybody's still waiting for the Supreme Court of California to come back with their decision on Proposition 8, which was sort of the catalyst for this whole thing, right? I mean, not really the catalyst, it's always been something that's been kind of coming up, but...
It's funny that you thought that they would have been the ones to lead the example,
Precisely.
and it's like all these other states that you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah. Well, in California, and New York has got legislation on the table, and you would have think, in my opinion, I would have thought that California and New York would have been two of the first people to actually get it done, and here we are with, the majority of New England at this point having legalized gay marriage. Iowa, for God's sake, I mean, seriously, where did Iowa come into the mix? And
Iowa
California
wouldn't have
still-
thought of that.
Maybe they just wanted to get on the news.
Put it away, Patrick.
Iowa wouldn't.
So,
have that.
since Iowa's 5, let's make a prediction here. Who do you think will be number 6?
Well, I have my fingers crossed that the Supreme Court of California is going to overturn Proposition 8, thus making it
Number 6.
the sixth.
What's the likelihood of that happening?
There's a fairly good chance. I mean, when you read the articles about it, there's actually a lot of debate because there's a legal precedent for them to do it because the proposition itself is unconstitutional. So it's not actually an amendment; it's a revision, which requires more than what an amendment does. Which is sort of the premise for them saying, okay, it's not a valid amendment; it's a revision, so therefore is not valid, right? But then you also have the democratic process which is, obviously the voters voted and they said they wanted this Proposition 8 to pass. So where do you
Where
draw the line?
they really made the mistake was letting it go to the ballot at all.
Yeah.
Because this gave people on either side of the topic false hope that it could be something that the voters decided. Where really it doesn't sound like that's the case at all. So.
For sure. Well, and that's one of the other really big hot topics about gay marriage in general, and a lot of people are talking about, the people should vote on this, but the premise of democracy is not the majority rules all the time, right? Like, the judiciary system is set up so that the masses cannot persecute the minorities, regardless of what it is, right? The judiciary system is there so that, minorities are able to be protected, which is why these courts have come out and made these judgments saying that, not allowing gay marriages is unconstitutional and that kind of stuff. So anyway, the United States is in for a bumpy ride for the next number of years. I mean, we've got 5 out of 50 states.
That's a 10th? No. 20th? Sorry, 20th. Sorry. Oops. So Patrick, who do you think the next state will be? Let's go. Pick a state.
I have no idea.
Well, who are the ones that already have it? Iowa, Maine.
Women in Maine, Connecticut, Vermont, and which one am I missing? Quality.
No, but
I don't see it
it's a
as
compromise
a-
between religion and rights. And to be honest, I don't expect that a religion is going to change for me, but I expect that my government and society will show us an equal rights perspective.
Yeah.
So, like, if, as far as being able to apply for benefits or have children's spousal recognition in the workplace, that kind of thing. That's what's more important to me than to actually be able to use the word marriage.
So I definitely agree with that, and it's again when you read a bunch of the articles that are about this, the only challenge that I have to that is that if you're going to separate it out that way and say, okay, well, marriage is a religious thing, then the government itself needs to stop using the word marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like, even straight couples should not go down to...
Because then where does religion end and where does the government end?
Exactly, and they shouldn't say, I need a marriage license. It should be, I need a civil union license, and then if their church wants to marry them, let their church marry them.
And the church would give them the marriage. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great way of separating church and state.
But you were just going to say something about, the church would give them a marriage license, but I don't even think that such a thing would exist because unless it's some sort of religious document that has absolutely no governmental purpose whatsoever.
It would be the thing they sign at the front of the church after they exchange their vows and kiss. Yeah. It's like it would have nothing to do with changing your name, getting a new driver's license, any of the legal perspective of being united.
For sure.
Interesting topic.
Yeah, so I could go on and on, obviously.